Welcome to my next worm video. It's been a while since I gave an update, so I don't think I'm going to do a lot of editing with this, a lot of cuts. Just going to kind of narrate over this. So last time I made a video, uh, it was in all my worms were in a different bin, and I've watched other people's worm videos, and I've seen people use these bus bins, and I really like the look of them, and I felt like this is the kind of bin I want to go with. Um, Pretty expensive online, so I actually just went to the industrial district downtown, and I went to a restaurant supply shop, and I bought two of these bins. And as I become more and more into worms in the future, I'm gonna buy more of these bins probably. Um, they're taller than the bin I was using, um, which is nice when I want to move the stuff around. Uh, since it's taller, I can kind of stack stuff up on one side without overflowing. Um, so yeah, I basically just split my worm population in half, and I put half of them in this bin and half of them in the other bin. This video is gonna focus on my two most recent feedings of this bin. I'm calling this bin 1, and I'll call the other one bin 2. Uh, so you'll just see me, slowly, methodically, just no rush, no anything, just taken off all the carbon that I had used to cover this worm bin, and uh, I started a new strategy of covering it in newspaper and paper towels, and then covering that with plastic. And the plastic does a really good job of circulating the moisture and making sure it doesn't all escape. Um, and there's actually like a bunch of really, really tiny, tiny worms that just live on the plastic. It seems like every time I open the sheet of plastic up and I look at it, there's just these tiny, tiny, tiny worms just all over it. So it's really interesting to me that that's the case. That they, I wonder why the baby worms like it so much up there. Um, but yeah, so I'm just kind of rifling through here. I try to use coffee filters as the indicator of where I last fed. Um, I don't know if it's this video or a future video I'm going to show. One of these, I pull it up and there is no coffee filter, and I realized later it's actually the coffee filter is kind of fused onto the newspaper that I had, because they were like, they degrade and stuff, and it just kind of like fused in the newspaper. And I was like, did I not put coffee filters down? But I did, and I just couldn't see them. Um, so let's see. I forget. I was distracted talking about other stuff, so I wasn't sure um, which side I fed on this one. It looks like I fed on the right side, because you can see here, you can see some grapes that are not fully decomposed. It looks like the grapes are actually taking longer than other stuff to decompose. It's interesting to see certain things. I think that's part of a apple or a pear there as well. So I'm considering whether I want this to be a 17-minute long video or if I want to cut parts out to make it shorter. I think I think I'm just gonna make this video a very long video, because no one's really gonna watch this. It's just for me, and I had a little spurt of a little short time a few weeks ago where I felt really motivated to do like editing and make stuff. And right now I feel super lazy. I don't want to spend the time like editing things and cropping things out and uh, all that jazz. So uh, I've been putting off this video for a long time. I'm going to be extremely low effort with this one. So yeah, I think the feeding was on the right side. You saw those worms on the right. I'm opening up the left hand side now um, to put the new food in. It's my shredded cardboard and shredded paper. Now, should I be talking throughout this whole thing, or should I leave those long, long, awkward pauses where I'm just watching the video, waiting for something to happen? All right, so I did a pretty small feeding on this one. I think it's because I noticed a lot of leftover food when I rifled through the stuff on the right. So it's still got some food on the right, and my logic was, I guess some of those will stay over there, and some of them will migrate over to the new food on the left, and there'll be plenty of food all throughout. Um, I've pretty much added crushed eggshells to almost every single time I fed. I add some crushed eggshells. I really don't know what the right amount is. I figure there's no way I could add too much. Uh, it adds calcium. It's supposed to lower the pH, um, and I don't think there's a risk of lowering the pH too much or adding too much grit or anything like that. So actually, this now, when was this? 11 March. I'm doing this almost like 10 days later than when I recorded this video. Uh, I actually ran out of crushed eggshells now. I haven't been eating as many eggs as I was. I need to start eating more eggs so I can make more crushed eggshells. Um, it's really funny. It's really funny doing this vermicomposting. How it affects your diet, because I'm like really interested in these worms, and when I first had them, I wanted to dig them up every single day. And I'm like, no, you need to leave them alone, let them have time. And so I'm really happy I have two bins because I can dig into the worms, semi more frequent, twice as frequently as I would with the same amount of disturbing. I can leave one for a week, but I get to dig into worms twice a week instead of only once a week. So I give them plenty of time to kind of not be disturbed and eat the food that I put in there for them. Uh, so we'll see how long it takes until I make a third bin. Uh, until I go to the restaurant supply store and just uh, you know keep going with it. See how I could just be a crazy worm guy now, where I just have worms everywhere. So there's that plastic. I just took like a Safeway bag and basically cut cut it up. Um, you can see kind of at the top like the fray of where the handle used to be. Um, the other bin I have is actually the plastic that I cut was like fits much more perfectly, as you can see there. Um, wondering if I should scrap this one and get a second. I actually made another one that fits perfectly, but I don't want to get rid of this one because it has so many little tiny worms on it. I don't want to spend the effort to evict all those worms. So here I am again, same bin that you've been seeing in this video, 7 days later. Um, so if you rewind the video, you can see just from a few seconds ago to here the way I laid the newspaper on. You can see how it's changed. Um, you can kind of already see like some of it kind of wants to rip apart. Uh, oh, this is what I was talking about earlier. Those coffee filters on the left, on the underneath. When I was doing this, I did not see those coffee filters. I don't know if you can see it now. It's like really hard to see. There's a coffee filter there. Um, I did not see it when I was doing this. I thought like, did I forget to do coffee filters before? Um, no, I did. They were almost invisible. So I'm just gathering all this stuff up. Um, I think when I was going through here, I it felt like not dry. Like you can kind of tell by visually, like it's not too dry. But it felt slightly drier than what I'm used to when I dug through this one this time. So I think you'll see me adding a little bit of water at the end of this. There's some like just shredded cardboard that's kind of like globbed on together. That's some of the cardboard that I put in there like very first. Any of this like not finely shredded but like torn up by hand cardboard that you see and all the colored red cardboard that's been in there like the longest out of anything in this bin. Um, so yeah, this left hand side is where I fed last. It's where I put the grapes. Yeah, that's right. So you can see these worms. Every time I do this, like, oh yeah, oh that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's what I was looking for. I think I try to get a better close up. I'm gonna try to do this every worm video I have is like get a close up of the worm party, and that's just beautiful. That's just beautiful right there. Love to see it. Um, it's interesting though. Like I think I remember when I did this. Yeah, there's like no worms almost on the other side. Uh, so I remember last time I looked in this bin, there was some leftover food on this right side. Um, not seeing that this time when I dig through that. Not seeing any leftover food on the right hand side. Um, but I'm actually surprised. I'm not surprised that there's a worm party on the left where the food was. I'm surprised how few and how little amount of worms there are on the right hand side still. I would think because there's still not fully digested and composted cardboard and specks of this and that, like on the right hand side, I would think there'd still be like a decent amount of worms over there, but like they really got the hell out of there and went straight for this new stuff that I put. Um, and what that makes me think I need to do is I just need to make sure to continue to um, changing uh, continue to change my feeding zones where I don't put food on the same spot twice. Like right now, I'm going left, right, left, right. I've seen corner feeding. Um, you know, these bins aren't that big. I feel like the left, right migration. I do a whole, basically like a trough. Like I do it the entire width of the bin every time I do it. Uh, as you see here. So what I got this time? Still some grapes. It looks like some shredded carrots. Uh, some broccoli. I try to chop everything up nice and good. Um, I think I was talking earlier about my diet, and then I got distracted by myself. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I definitely want to eat more fruits and vegetables because I want I want stuff to feed my worms. So banana peels, apple cores. Um, I feel less bad now if I buy a big thing of broccoli and I use most of it, but then I don't use some of it instead of like wasting food in the garbage. Anything I forget to eat in time and then it's not very tasty anymore because it's been sitting in my fridge too long. I could just give it to my worms, and that's what I did. All the broccoli you see in there is like about a big ass bag of broccoli, uh, and I made some broccoli soup with it, but I didn't use it all. So just all the stuff I didn't use, give to my worms. And I think because I'm going ahead of time a little bit, like you'll see this and you'll see later on my channel. I don't know how long, maybe a day, maybe I get super lazy and I don't do it. You'll see another video of my other bin. It's two videos back to back, just like this one was, alternating. So we'll go back in time with bin number 2 uh, in my next video. This has been number one still this whole video. Uh, so yeah, like I think I don't remember which one, but one of these I put a shit ton of broccoli, and I think it was the bin number two that I just did, and I put a. I'm actually excited to look at that video and see how much I put in on the first part of the video and the second part of the video to see how there was nothing there. Like they just ate it all up. And this is a new strategy I'm doing. I'm using my spray bottle to get all the worms off of my glove to put them back in. Um, this is especially useful for me if I feel like the bin needs more moisture, because I get two things that I want. I get to clean off my hand, because those little baby worms, you can't see them, but they're so small and they stick to my glove and my hand. Um, so I want to make sure I don't kill worms unnecessarily. I want them to grow up to bigger worms and compost for me. So I think on this one I forgot to put down the coffee filters as well. This is the one where I didn't see the coffee filters because they had like half dissolved already when I picked up the bin, and I also forgot to put coffee filters to indicate where I fed after. But that's fine. Now I'm contemplating. We're almost at the end of the video now. Um, Contemplating whether I want to do that corny, cheesy intro, add it to this, and do the editing, or if I just want to do this as is. Not sure. But what I will say is to the one person watching this, whoever you are, you're weird. Why are you watching this? Um, uh, Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Goodbye. I love you.